and to you, our next speaker. Papa will not allow me to spread all the profile on this platform now, but Reverend Professor Anefiok Akpabio is from Nigeria, and he will be sharing with us on diplomatic relationship in leadership. But then I will quickly share briefly, and then I will show you all the slides regarding our great Papa, Reverend Akpabio. Was born in Ipiaku, Esa Ekpok, Apak, NLGA, Akwa Ibom State. Professor Akpabio is the fellow association, is a fellow association of Christian Theologian Nigeria, FACT, fellow College of Chaplaincy and Psychology Nigeria, FCCP, doctorate fellow Institute of Chartered Mediator and Globologist of Africa, patron of Y.Y.C.I International Academic London, UK, YYCI. Yes, I'm glad that he added that. Ambassador of Peace and Community Transformation, Argentina. Continental Board Secretary, World Organization of Ambassadors, Argentina. Head of Administration of African Chancelling World Organization of Ambassadors, Argentina. An international and continental theological and conference speaker and educationist. So I'm just quickly going to share the slides. There's so many things I can say about Reverend Akpabio. As a state secretary, he was a state secretary, Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, state president and Pentecostal Press Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN, general superintendent, Redeem International Calvary Mission, rector and Ministerial Training Institute at Calabar, and many, many more awards. Some of the awards says Female Ministers Forum International for Exemplary Leadership Award, Cross River Broadcasting Corporation Excellent Performance Award, the Best Preacher of the Year 2000, Pentecostal Assemblies of World Award for Committed Service to God and Humanity, Faithfulness in Service Award by Evangelical Messenger Association International, Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, CROS chapter for commitment to the progress of PFN, Christian Association of Nigeria Service Award as the longest serving secretary in CRS, Bible Society Special Membership Outstanding Service Award 2004, Educational Leadership Award by Institute of Industrial Administration of Nigeria, Christ for the World Mission Special Growth Award, and World Harvest Bible College and Seminary Selfless Service Awards, and many, many more. Many, many more. So, allow me now to welcome many more. An electrical engineer and member of Association of Supervisory and Executive Engineer of London, a professor of theological and biblical studies. Many more. I'm looking for that word. President and visionary of Ministerial Consultancy Network, General Overseer of Kingdom Builders Ministry, and Provost of World Harvest Bible College and Seminary, Calabar, and many more. Lances marriage counselor and teacher of marital issues, and many, many more. So, permit me to welcome Ambassador Reverend Professor Anefiok Akpabio from Calabar, Nigeria, West Africa, Africa. I just want you to laugh a bit before I put you. All is yours, sir. The stage is yours. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. I want to really appreciate every one of us that is here in this program. It is my heart desire to see and to enjoy what we are really bringing out to the people. And I'm trusting that, like Nigeria said, the labor of the heroes past will not be put to shame. Whatever we are contributing, we are building a nation of future tomorrow. When I was looking at what is happening in Kenya, I see when the youth decided to create problem, it's all because some of these things we are talking, people don't take into action to help them. But I'm trusting that God will really help us. I have the mandate today to speak on diplomatic relationship in leadership. Diplomatic relationship in leadership. And I'm trusting that whatever we are and we want to be, our God will actually help us to enjoy. Thank you, my queen. You say the name Papa is only for you. Thank you for each and every one of us. For even my sister, which is my personal person that I have really introduced to be here. I congratulate you all. When we look at what we have, that is diplomatic relationship in leadership. The first aspect of it is leadership. A diplomatic relationship is needed to make leadership what leadership should be. And so I would begin from that angle of leadership. And then when we finish looking at leadership, we can look at some of the criteria and characteristics of leadership. And we move into the issue of a diplomat. Good enough as a diplomat, I will just be speaking who we are so that we can see that you cannot actually do a perfect leadership leading without some diplomatic mindset, diplomatic activity, and what we need to know. We'll talk about a lot of things as time will permit. And at the end, I will give my personal advice as far as leadership is concerned, because a lot of people take leadership as lordship. And so when we do the leadership, we make it a lording thing and we destroy what it is. Someone tell me, and I share the word and love it. He said leadership is actually a leader in a ship. And because you're a leader in a ship, you cannot actually move along except you carry others and then you know where you are going. And if you're a leader in a ship, you don't know where you are going, it can be a problem. The first question is, who is a leader? And what is expected of a leader? Because a leader that makes leadership. So in one of my books, I have said that when we talk about a leader is supposed to be a knowledgeable individual who has confidence in himself and share wisdom with individuals and group of persons. A leader must be a knowledgeable individual who has confidence in himself. When a leader is led by others, he's no more a leader, but a follower. And when we talk about leading, you go forward and others are following you. For what we consider is, if we are going to talk about this leadership and applying diplomatic relationship, then a leader should be confident in himself, which means there are special characteristics, special lifestyle, special knowledge that he must know. And I say also that a leader is supposed to be one with passion, empathy, honesty, integrity, commitment, and a good communicator. So when we look at leadership, we realize that leadership is actually not the title. It's not actually occupying a space, but actually a life to live. And so when he cannot be able to have passion, he will not be able to lead, especially like diplomatic leadership. There must be an aspect he must understand where he's going. Passion, empathy. You must not do what Moses did sometimes. Moses was leading the people, and the people that were strong, they followed Moses. And at a point, those who were weak were killed by the enemy, and God became unhappy with Moses. A leader must be empathic. and feel with himself and what others are doing. We say about honesty. My problem today is that leadership, integrity, and honesty have been sacrificed on the platform of money, fame, and name and position. And if a leader, as we are looking at a leader, we're supposed to be, you say they're honest, having integrity, at least to stand for what we are doing. Today, I just pity the issue of what we are seeing at leadership across the globe. In almost every city, leadership are the greatest problem. And the leaders are doing what they feel it can be for them. It will be the leader, the wife will be the second, the children will be the third. And so the thing revolves around them. And when they die, the property, the situation of a nation is drowned for nothing. So as we listen and as we will convey this information to others, let's understand that leadership has to do with integrity. It has to do with honesty. You see people take money and say they want to do things and they divert the money and do it for themselves. No integrity. Nothing goes about. So as we come into leadership, we must actually be sure that certain things that we see and we learn and we experience is done away with, because diplomatic relationship in leadership will actually bring us to the point of being wise enough to know what we can do. I say that leadership, a leader is supposed to be one who is able to think and act creatively. A leader must be a thinker. While others are sleeping, you think. Like the pastoral world, when the pastor is fasting and praying and looking for message and other fasting and doing it, the members are sleeping only to come on Sunday and he start preaching to them. So a leader must be able to think and act creatively in difficult situations. So it is a great task. And that is why I believe the Queen decided to bring in the aspect of diplomatic relationship in leadership. How can we lead well? And how can we act the way it ought to be? There are more things about when we look at this issue of a leader. But sometimes I decide to look at the spelling of leader and then define what leadership is all about. I take L as ladder. That as a leader, you are a ladder. And people need to climb on you to reach the top. And if you cannot become a ladder to them, then you have destroyed many generations. And that will call for diplomatic relationship. I take the A as, also E as excellence. A leader must be excellent. You must perform excellence in the activity. When a leader messes up, you have messed the whole nation up. You have messed a whole generation up. And therefore, we must be very careful. Look at the leaders in the Bible. The mistake Abraham did, the mistake Isaac did, the mistake Jacob did, the mistake Saul, the rest of them did. He reflects and he leaves a story on the sign of time. I take A as answer. You are, number one, a ladder. Number two, an excellent, supposed to be an excellent person. And number three, the answer to every question that people are asking. They will look on you as a leader. So as leadership, that's where diplomatic relationship comes down to leadership. If you must be the answer to every question that needs solution. Even when people know what they want to do, they will tell the leader, what should we do? Sometimes to discredit you, sometimes to challenge you, and time to make it. So as a leader, this is what will be. I take E as edifice. A leader as edifice. And that is to say, you are a picture for people to see. You are the focus of where they are. A lot of people believe and learn from you. Like all of us gathering in this program here, talking for almost 1 month, we are going to talk. If Queen Elizabeth decide to do another thing and live another life, we'll all run away, we'll be disappointed. And so we see that she stands up position as an edifice. As a leader, you are an edifice, and you must be able to be sure that you remain a model. Leadership has to do with model. And when we are models, it can be okay. And I take R as rabbi, a leader as rabbi. Rabbi in the scripture is a teacher, someone that people can learn from, and someone that people can know what they are doing. So when you look at this, you realize that a leader goes beyond just taking position. taking swearing an oath of office, which most of the time they don't do what they swear. And we are now talking on the Christian perspective, what leadership is all about. So that is why if one is to look at the issue of the leader, there must be some characteristics, which is very essential so that you can know how he will apply diplomatic relationship into his leadership. Most of those characteristics, as I would suggest here, as it is in the book, is strong and effective communication. A leader that cannot communicate well become an insane. A leader that cannot tell people where to go and what to do, himself they might not even know. So when you don't know, you will not be able to do it, which means a leader is supposed to be developed in a position that he is. All that we are looking at is the issue of a leader or leadership. And so that is leader. What is leadership? A leader is a person. Leadership is a process or the principles or the ground of fulfillment. I say that a leader is the action, the leader's work. A leader is somebody whose action is to, number one, lead, number two, direct, number three, guide, number four, control, number five, manage, number six, superintend, number seven, supervise, and number eight, have authority. So if this is a leadership, leadership is that act of directing, guiding, stimulating, encouraging, and making all go. So as we go into, most of us are leaders at our own value and our own level. And I'm trusting as we go on doing this work, there are a lot of things that is essential. That's why we have looked at not just the leadership, but diplomatic leadership as we go on. So when we look at that, we realize also that leadership also is the act of motivating to action of others. You are there to motivate the actions of others. There are ways that you want to motivate the action, but you fail because you did not take certain things into consideration. And so by way of motivation, we now cause trouble. We now cause confusion. So as a leader, that's where diplomatic relationship is essential. If we are there to motivate others, inspire them to do and perform well, then we must know that there are certain intricacies and things we must think about and do. A leader also is one that is out to demonstrate the ability of innovation. When the leader lacks the vision, then the leadership or the leading people are going to go astray. I remember when Moses finished the job and he wanted to leave Egypt and told his brother-in-law, he said, come and lead us because you are the one that knows the way. Come and lead us so that we can know. And the man says, not going to go because Moses was looking on who had known the way. A leader is supposed to be a person that knows the way, knows what to do, know how to do it. A novice can never work as far as leadership is concerned. And I say that leadership is the ability to execute confidence. Let's take note of this. You should be, if you are a leader, and leadership should be ability to execute confidence, attract followers, influence thoughts and action, and get the work done in a way he desires it should go. So if this is leadership, and we are looking at the diplomatic relationship in leadership, we see leadership goes beyond where we are looking. There are basics in leadership. And there are things we need to know about leadership because we must establish clear goals. And if it is so, you must have some diplomatic relationship because you are working with people. And since you are working with people, not with robots, that they can do anything. It is easily said that you can control animals than control man. Because every human being has an identity. He has everything about him. He can survive without you in his stupid way or in his wise way. But why you come as a leader is to add to what they didn't know, to motivate what they know and what they can do. So these are the things we look at as far as leadership is concerned. And so that I can move from the leadership to the other aspect of the area, I said that these basic leadership powers are to be taught about and to be followed. We have what we call cohesive power. And that is when the leader is standing to administer without actually getting what he needs to get. Even when leadership has powers, that's about 14 powers on a leader. And even when that is done, we must know which power do we use at a particular time. When it is hot, what kind of power do we use? When it is cold, what kind of leadership do we use? And when we know them, legitimate power, we have the reward power, we have the connection power. You may not be able to do all things or to meet others, but you can meet somebody who knows somebody that can know somebody. And that is the issue that we look at the other side of the powers, so that we know, even when I have all the power to control, but there is some time that I need somebody to support me to do that control. We have the expert power, we have the informative power, we have the referential power, and others. So let's look at this, that all these things will come in a situation that we fully understand. How do we apply them? And that is where the visionary is telling us to look at the issue of diplomatic relationship. That calls for a question, because if we want to look also into the issue of power, or issue of leadership, we can know that a lot of things is to be needed before I go into the leadership. Now, we look at that. If you are really going to be a leader, there are some characteristics I suggest, I encourage. Number one is the leader must be visionary. You must dream beyond what others. You must see farther than others. A leader that sees to where others are seeing is no leader, but is a leader. You must have the issue of what we call action-oriented. He must be action-oriented. When the leader is dull, everything will be dull. When the leader is smart, everything will be smart. When a leader is a thief, everybody becomes a thief. When a leader is religious, everybody will look at that. But when somebody has a fear of God, you influence, because leadership actually affects others. You can influence. You can make sure that somebody just follow you and go on. So it must be action-oriented. Leadership also as a character has to do with, you must be have the risk-taking ability. You must take risk. Leadership is risk. There are some people you do things for and they turn around to do other things. And sometimes you may regret. So when you are able to have the risk-taking ability, that can also help. Another characteristic is ability to act as a change agent when kindness. You might have a good plan. You might get out to people. You might tell them, this is what I'm going to do. And you see the trend change. The people may not look at what you are saying. They are saying something else. You can be a change agent, either to change or to change what you were doing. You are fooling them. You are not stupid, but you want to gain at the end of it. So he must also be a committed and disciplined person. That's a characteristic. If a leader is not a disciplined person himself and committed, he will actually do anything. After all, they say executive power corrupt executively. And so because the powers is there, we do a lot of things. They can kill, can do anything just because they are on authority. It is my time. People say it is my time. A leader must not be like that. We have another characteristic, being effective and efficient. People don't want a leader to fail, because failure of a leader is a failure of a nation. The failure of a pastor is a failure of the church. The failure of leadership is a failure of membership. So we must look at the issue of being effective and efficient, at least at the grace that God has given us. Not only that, there is also the characteristic that is essential in leadership. So we can now apply diplomatic relationship as far as leadership is concerned. And that is being decisive and uncompromising. When it comes to leadership authority, stand your ground. And when you know you are going right, if people want to take you in or out of the way, you are in trouble. Look at if you are driving on a high speed and you see banana along the street. and then you were on a high speed and you want to eat banana. By the time you focus, you stop your focus and begin to look at something else, you kill yourself and kill other nations. And so let us as leaders know those are some of the things we need to know. And I say, lastly, on that aspect, the more are here to be said, that the leader should be one who is transitional. Transitional. We go beyond the moment that we are. Transitional and persistent. Tennessee is also all about it. So as we look at that, we see that because of this, there is a need for us to look at a particular aspect of leadership that can really help us. And that is what we call diplomatic relationship. So the question I would ask, or we should ask, is who is a diplomat? Because if we say diplomatic relationship, which means it is a relationship that is applied by the diplomats in order that it can work well. I know some people say use diplomacy, and by the use diplomacy, they are talking in their sense, use tricks, get your way through. And that is not. So if I would also help us to know, as a diplomat myself, I want to say that a diplomat is somebody who is able to handle a situation in a sensitive and tactful manner while still achieving a desired outcome. So if you are a leader and you are not sensitive and you are not able to handle situation in the way tactfully in order to get an answer, then you will destroy many things. Many of our national leaders have not come to this aspect of looking and leading as diplomats. A diplomat is not a YO man, but somebody who is tactful and is able to handle situation in a sensitive way, knowing that everyone has a feeling. And if everyone has a feeling and you wound the feelings of the other person, you may miss the confidence and then he will not believe on you again. A diplomat also is someone who is able to handle stress and difficult situation calmly and adapt quickly the changing situation. A diplomat is not an angry man, because if you are angry, you will destroy a lot of things. A diplomat is someone that can handle stress and difficult situation wisely. You will laugh when you are pain in the inside because you know what you want to gain tomorrow. So as we look at leadership, diplomatic relationship in leadership, we are looking at a relationship or a leadership that people have the sense they can move with the stress and get what is needed to be handled. A diplomat is one who is able to work with others from other culture with different values, politics, beliefs, and yet is not dented in his judgment. Is able to go along with, but he will not be allowed himself to be dented. They say, show me a friend, your friend, and I know who you are. There are many times some of us are sincere and right, but the people we work with and move with and act with and lead with, they corrupt. Corruption is like virus. It grows and it affects. So if you want to lead as a diplomat, there is that aspect of working with others from the cultural, whether cultural difference is there or not there, no, there's no problem because you can do it. A diplomat is someone who has the ability to control a difficult situation without upsetting anyone. That's diplomacy. But in leadership today, you see, we have a lot of quarrel. They say the other one loved the other one. The other one loved the other one. You see what happened in the book of Acts chapter 6. When the scripture tells us, when the apostles decided to do the work, preaching the gospel, doing all that, there was an aspect of care. And that aspect of caring for members brought some problem because some of them used observations and they saw that some people were favored and some people were not favored. And when that was happening, there was a loss of interest. There was accusation on the leadership. And when Peter and the rest came to themselves, they said, come, let us do this. And that is the ability to control the difficult situation and bring an answer. He said, let us do this thing. Let's select people who we know they can handle this. And let us give ourselves to what we can handle very well. And the Bible says when they do that, there was peace and calm. A leader is not a do-all person. A leader is somebody who diplomatically, you can now be able to walk in the confusion time and be able to bring out an answer, not affecting anybody. One of the things we diplomats know and do, which some of us are, is that you will not want to offend anybody. You want at least to make sure that people are carried along. Even when you realize there is a mistake, you know how to make up for the mistake. At the end, you want to use your life in order to correct it. As a diplomat, so diplomatic relationship has to do, or in leadership, has now to do with your personal effort, integrity, and action to make the leadership what it should be. I remember also that a diplomat is someone who is connected with the art of producing and conducting negotiation, especially when two warring people are meeting together, when two nations are affecting each other. And then you go there, some people will think that you are standing for this one, the other one will say you are standing for this one. A diplomat must be wise enough to be able that when you have talked and finished, no one thing you were standing with anybody. And I know God can give us that grace. Leaders actually, when they allow God to lead them, they have additional sense to carry the work on. So diplomats are people that are ready to make sure that peace prevails, even when it hurts, even when it may not seem to gain anything. But what they want to know is, let peace reign. Because minus peace in this world, confusion and trouble can come. A diplomat is one who is resourceful, innovative, generous, and helpful, who will use positive approach to work with others. That's a diplomat. So diplomatic relationship has to do with working with people whom you are, when you are resourceful, you are therefore a leader must be resourceful. You must know more than the people because you are leading them. And if you are leading them, they must learn more from you. But when a leader is led, then there is bound to be confusion and some problem. And we see that when you look at all what I'm saying, the aspect of the quality in a diplomat or in diplomatic relationship, you will see something like that he should be, you are unmovably calm. If you are going to be a leader using diplomatic relationship, you must be unmovably calm. You don't make noise. Leaders who are wise don't talk. They don't make noise. They know their targets. They know what they want, and they know how to people to go on. As they do that, you see, they will work well. The other thing that such a leader should do is patience and empathy. Because you are leading the people as a diplomat, you are patient and empathy. We know what empathy means. You feel the pain that they feel. You put your leg in their shoe and you can feel it the way they are feeling. When that is happening, you say you will not fail. Why we fail in leadership these days is because we are not using diplomatic relationship in leadership. We take by force. We carry by it. I have said it must come to pass. No, there must be that issue of patience and empathy. And there must be that intuition skill, ability to detect, to have intuition within yourself. Many times we tell people to do a thing that we ourselves would not even love to do. So a diplomatic leader, a diplomatic relation leadership will not bring that. It will not make people to do what they should not do. And that's why I encourage that in whatever form of leadership we are talking about, after finishing now and more are to come, let us be sure that we turn to be diplomatic leadership in our relationship in leadership. This will harness things that we are doing. You must also be able to understand other people's emotion. That's another thing about diplomatic leadership. If you don't know people's emotion, you know, body language speaks. You can talk to somebody and you see how he's making the body, you know, this one, he no agree. He doesn't want to hear what we are saying. Then you must then be wise as a leader, not to enforce things at that time, but rather to see what you can do to make it up. And it must also have the motivation. That's one thing about leadership, a motivation to act, an inner push. to take sure that you do what it ought to be done. Now, having said that, what is diplomatic relationship? So we understand and work together. We are talking about diplomatic relationship in leadership. What is diplomatic relationship? God loves us, and He gives us a lot of information that really guide us and help us to know what we are doing. As diplomatic relationship, as a leader, today we can actually bring the elementary perspective of a diplomat to you, that you need to know that you are one who will use tactfulness to make sure you finish a case and none of them accuse you of partiality. As a leader, you come to a position that you are so tactful enough and you are polite to tell people who they are, and you are not so bitter and make them feel bitter. One of the things we don't do in leadership these days, because we don't apply diplomatic relationship, is we paint people in where they are and encourage them to continue to do evil. But when you are able to point out things, but in a smiling way and in a funny way, useful way, loving way, and you present the truth shall live. And then the head will be thinking of what it is. So diplomatic relationship is an aspect where you can know who you are, the kind of way you can use in order to solve it. Now, coming to diplomatic relationship, what is it to all of us? I said here that diplomatic relationship, as far as diplomacy is concerned, is the art and science of maintaining peaceful relationship between nations, groups, and individuals. Diplomatic relationship in leadership is a state where you use art and science to be sure you maintain peaceful environment within where you are leading the people. And as a leader, one of the things we see is tribalism and sectionalism and grouping have destroyed diplomatic leadership itself. But a diplomat will be able to understand that since I am living in 2 communities or 3 communities or 3 people around me, I must be able to sample their case and make them not to have problem. Most of the time, diplomats go to bring confusion than to bring what is up to be. So as a leader, talking about diplomatic relationship, you are to be somebody who has studied the art and the science of bringing the people together without affecting them. Bringing them together, still noting and allowing them to be what should be to be as far as leadership is concerned. And when we still look at diplomatic relationship, we are talking about the ability to say the right thing when 2 friends are fighting, making both of them happy. You are ready, you are eager, and you are able to say the right thing. Somebody that was wrong, you say is wrong. Let me take a case as a marriage counselor. When you go into counseling, the man will talk about it or talk himself, the woman will talk, and some men will say, hey, the man, anyway, woman, this is what you have to do, this is what you have to do, submit, 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 submit. You cannot even tell the man, before this woman submit, this is what you should do. You are not a diplomatic relations officer, and you are not really leading the people well, because when you take sides, you create bitterness in the heart of that woman or that man. Most of the men have gone wrong. Most of the leaders have gone wrong. Most of the people have gone wrong because the leaders who are not diplomatic, they don't know how to convey the message to them. They feel they will be annoyed. When you understand the principles of leadership and when you use diplomatic relationship, you can tell them to the face and they will hear it and they will not be discouraged because you know the way to put it. Not a situation we cover the man and we crucify the woman. I asked many times questions about the Bible, and somebody remember the woman that was brought to Jesus. They made a clear statement. They said this woman is taken in the very act, which means the woman was sleeping with a man in the very act. Why do you take the man and hide and carry the woman to be killed? Diplomatic relationship is what Jesus did at that time. He did not actually want to, okay, let us kill. Because many of the leaders are living by the details of word of people and forget to say the right thing. Jesus applied diplomatic relationship. When they say it, he knew if they were taken in the very act, two of them should have appeared. If they were coming out from the same, two of them should be there. But why carry the woman and leave the man to go? Okay, Jesus decided to write on the ground. Diplomacy, diplomatic relationship is so important with wisdom in this and that. He started right. Who knows? While I was waiting, when you see one person, he write the name. This is what you did yesterday. This one, this is what you did. And the Bible said when they were looking at what was going on, one by one they left. And Jesus came and said, "Woman, where are the accusers?" This is what a leader must do as far as leadership is concerned, not taking sides. Because if Jesus were to be as leaders of today, that woman could have been killed and that could have been the end. But Jesus used diplomatic relationship to raise the woman. But he did not tell the woman, go because I've said, he said, neither do I condemn you, but one thing is sure, go and sin no more. A diplomatic leader must face the fact and tell the truth, even when he uses any simple way to bring what he said. And that is important in leadership. A diplomatic relationship is the art and practice of building and maintaining relationship and conducting negotiation with people with tactfulness. We are dealing with people. Every human being is an entity. Every human being can decide what they want to do, whether you advise them or don't advise. Even if they want to die, they say, let me go and die. And so for that reason, a diplomatic leader in relationship must be able to practice a building and maintaining of relationship and conducting things together. You don't destroy the other person's relationship. Everyone do mistake in one way or the other. And so what can be done and what can be expected is using that build relationship, maintain the relationship. And as you go, be sure you stick to what you are saying, point out what is wrong. When you point that wrong in the midst of encouraging and helping somebody to build up his life, he will bless and thank you. But if you point out wrong in the midst of accusation, he will hate you to the last. And I would say that when we talk about this relationship issue and leadership, we are looking at the issue that such is the art as diplomatic relationship is the art and practice of making sure that we are what we ought to be. That is the kind of leadership we are looking for. And we ask a question. If actually we are to develop a diplomatic relationship in leadership, what are the benefits and what are the weaknesses and what are the truths? The benefit number one is that it will provide a peaceful avenue. Diplomatic relationship will provide a peaceful avenue for resolving conflict and promoting global cooperation. If you look at diplomats, most of the time they don't condemn. They can even come and say election in Nigeria was perfect. But they know that some area it wasn't perfect. And what are they saying? They want to use that diplomatic way in order to ensure peace and make sure that people are steady so that they can now settle and talk what they are. That's one of the benefits. It provides a peaceful avenue. You cannot solve a problem in confusion. You must create a peaceful avenue first before you can do your leading. A leader that will say war and trouble is not a leader. It's not a lead that cannot stand. So we understand this. When we also talk about that, we see that the benefit of diplomatic relationship would actually help a leader to influence decision-making process and advocate for their interests on a global scale. When you are using diplomatic relationship, you are going to influence decision-making because people will feel that you don't have way to start where you are standing. Sometimes pastors make that mistake. Sometimes leaders make that mistake because somebody is from where you are. Then we decide to say, no, I cover you. And he will say, cover me now. Don't you know I'm your person? Being a diplomat will tell you, you don't, at the point of problem, you don't have anybody who is your favorite. What you have is those whom you can lead and help to come out from the problem. When you come out, they come out from the problem, then you can come and say, that is why I did that to you. One day, a minister was doing interview for pastors. So I was told to be in the interview for ordination. The wife of the pastor the leader was to be among the people to be interviewed. And so when the woman came, the husband gave announcement. He said, please, my dear, you are coming for interview. The way I deal with others, I will deal with you. But if it is today, you realize that they will pass. They will do what the Senate will do. Bow and go, bow and go. He said, we are going to ask you a question. And he asked a question. The woman, sweat was coming. And we said, leave. And he said, no, as I did to others. That's a diplomat. So that by tomorrow, somebody will not wake up that he just passed a wife into leadership. Many people are doing like that. So it will give you, it will influence decision-making process. It will help you so that tomorrow somebody will know this is what he stands for and this is what he can do. And also is going to advocate an aspect of interest. Somebody will be interested. So let me sit under that person. That is diplomatic relationship. And in leadership, if we fail to bring this in, we fail from the grassroots. And a failure from the grassroots is a failure forever. Because if you can fail outside, you can have way to come and hide. But when you fail in the inside, then you're in trouble because every day they will be calling your name and telling you that you are the problem that do that. How to handle diplomatic relationship. If you want to be a leader, how do you handle it? So that as you are leading with diplomatic relationship in view, you can know what to do. Number one, understand the content. Understand the content. Understand the content of the problem. What do I mean? What is the goal of the interaction? What are you really going to do? What were you called to come and do? Understand the goal, the whole thing. Don't be a novice when you want to say, I'm saying this. No. Look at an issue that happened in Acts chapter 15. Paul and Barnabas have come and they are bringing problems that they have faced about circumcision. And all the prophet or the apostle were sitting. Barnabas, or what the leader of that time, which was James, he listened to all of them. Peter said his own, John said his own, the other one said their own because they have faith. And what did Barnabas or James say? He said, my sentence is this, that we don't bother these people on what they are doing. But let us say that they should not do this, they should not do this, they should not do this, they should not do this. My sentence is this. He was not motivating for himself. Others have said all things. A leader must listen. And when you listen with diplomatic relationship, you blend them together. Okay, this is what I'm saying now. You now become authority. So when we look at diplomacy, many leadership have failed because diplomacy is not applied. When the leader feels, I am the only cock to crew, you know that you are only cock to crew in your village, another cock is there. So we must make sure we look at that. That's understanding the content. Number two, use empathy and active listening. If you are actually going to be a leader that must apply diplomatic relationship, use empathy and active listening. That's put yourself in their shoe. Never judge a case without feeling the pains of the problem. Never decide anything or telling somebody to go and do a thing that do not have the pains of doing that thing. That's why leaders are, some people say leaders are born, some people say leaders are made. But I feel both of them are so okay. It's okay. But most of the time, if you don't feel the impact of what you are doing, you will not know how to tell people better. Because a father, like our sister was saying, Professor Irole was saying, we must train our people to come and flow along with what we are flowing. So that is another aspect of in this relationship. If we are to apply, use empathy and active listening, and therefore put yourself in their shoe, and then you can say. Then number three, be assertive and respectful. Many leaders are arrogant. Because of the position, they can talk to anybody anyhow. A leader did not, you are not the one that give them life. You are not the one that give them food. They can be ready to accept you or not accept you. Therefore, a leader who is going to apply diplomatic relationship must be assertive and respectful. You call somebody sir, even when it's not what being sir. You call somebody, hey, you are a good man, when you know he's not a good man. But you know where you are going. You want to tickle the vanity in order to bring the reality. So these are things that we must understand and know about this leadership. And the next thing is seek common grounds and compromise. In diplomatic relationship, positive compromise is necessary. Negative compromise must be rejected. What do I mean by positive compromise? If they must be subtract from this way, add to this one, subtract from this one, add to this one, and they compromise together, it can work. But when it's a situation, this one want the right, this one want the right, and all of them want the right, and you don't see what you can subtract from this to give to this, and what you can take from this to give, you will never make it. Leaders have failed in that direction. They want to please a certain group of people and make others to suffer. In nations today, leadership is flowing in this direction. And that's why we cannot have peace. We talk about peace, we preach peace, and it's not happening. And so how to apply diplomatic relationship in leadership? I still say common goal. Try to find a stable ground so that you can now say, okay, having come thus far, let us do this and let us do that. Sometimes I look at peacemaking. People will go and feel that peacemaking is put water, put salt, give to people to drink. That's no peace. That's drinking of water and salt. And we must go beyond that as leaders and be sure that we apply diplomatic relationship. We play the role of a diplomat to make sure it goes. You see the common goal, you compromise. Then manage emotions and stress. That's another thing that a diplomatic relationship is needed in leadership. You manage emotion and stress. There are a lot of people, when they are stressed up, you see they want to be mad. Emotion can, by the time you go there, this one can carry the face up here, the other one carry the face here. Don't look at those faces. I see why God told Jeremiah, don't look at their faces. He told Ezekiel, when you want to pray, don't look at their faces. If you look at their faces, you can be confused and destroyed. Therefore, a diplomatic relations leader is somebody that may not look at, you are able to manage emotion. Or let us say you are talking now, and then one started to cry. And the other one say, hey, because you are crying because you are guilty. Know how to manage that emotion, so that at the end, the person will not feel guilty and the other will not feel he's a victor. That's diplomacy. And we need it in our leadership. We need it in our churches. We need it in our nation. Our national leaders need to know that it is not my political dam say this. It's not because my godfather said this, but it is because I feel as a human being, this is what is to be done. That's where I fear that many people who are leaders, they don't have human sympathy. And that's why they can kill, they can maim, they can do anything. They can send higher assassin to those who say they should not do that, because they don't come to that level. But know how to manage emotion and stress. Even when it pains upon you, what you need to do, manage. Even when you are insulted as a diplomat or as a leader, and then you are talking and they are insulting you, no, bear the shame, bear the stress. But if you survive and succeed, you see, they will come back to apologize. One thing I love about leadership, be a leader that you may not seek your right, but let the people that were thinking you will do nothing come back to say you are the best one. You are the one who has solved my problem. I experience that all the time because we look at diplomatic relationship in leadership. When you are a leader and you want to enforce your word, let it stand, you will not see that happen. And we said also, there is this issue that you must, if you are a leader who want to apply diplomatic relationship, he says, set boundaries within offenses or hurting words so that you can do well. You must set boundary. A leader is not grabbing everything. That sometimes somebody want to use one, look at law. They can present a case now, somebody according to section 2, subsection that the other section, he said like this and divert attention. And then the people, one word about the law or the law court is, because of the evidence before me. They want the evidence. If you cannot put English and confuse the people, they get the line. But we must not play a lawyer point. We must not do a judge point. We must be able to set boundaries. If they want to go beyond, no, that's the way we are going. Face what you were there to face. And that will help the leadership to work well. And I said, when you have done this, what is important to do is follow up and then follow through. A leader who is actually leading well should follow up and follow through. When you do this, you realize that your leadership will actually be embraced by all and will be acknowledged, and you will feel the good of what it is. There are many things to say, but I want to stop here because when we talk about diplomatic relationship or in leadership, it is the need of the hour. Thank you very much. Have our queen lost? Okay, let me say this while she's coming up. We look at, by the time you are doing leadership in diplomatic relationship, please, I want you to take note of these 7 little words. 7 little words in diplomatic relationship. Okay, our queen is back. So those words are false impression. As a diplomatic relation leader, you must be careful about false impression, false image, wrong impression, deceptive impression, and you must do the actual impression that can help. When you do that, it will work very well. The first impression that matter, how the person start, how the person is ending. When we understand this, it will help us. It is written in the volume of the book, and then I come to an end now. My queen, you are back. Thank you very much.
Oh my God! I just left my king. I love my king to listen to you. So while I was still in the background, thank you so much. On behalf of my family, we appreciate you, sir. I think some people will be wondering who is this young man that just joined on my profile. That is my king, my love, my husband, my everything. So he happens to be at home today, and he's been busy, but he just decided to listen to Reverend Akpabio message today, which is very powerful. And I want to say on behalf of YYCI International, you being our patron, and YYCI International Academy, we want to appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much for this. Wow, full of knowledge, and everything that you have shared with us today is so powerful. The wisdom. What can I say? I mean, I can't stop drinking and drinking wine from your wealth of wisdom. Thank you so much. I want to seize this opportunity to express my gratitude to Dr. Samina, Pastor Awodiran, Professor Patricia, Dr. Stephen Cameron, and Ambassador Daniel Anieko that are sitting down patiently to learn, to listen, and also to gain from all these teachings we've been teaching since morning. I also want to appreciate all our great leaders from the Facebook, Ambassador Rita Ilori, and many, many more leaders that are joining us to learn together. We want to appreciate you. So before we release Reverend Professor Akpabio, would you like to have any questions for Dr. Samina? Any contribution or questions for Papa? Quickly. Okay. Ambassador Daniel, do you have any questions?
Yes, I have few questions, and I
Oh,
also want to get an enlightenment based on some things, because when it comes to peacemaking, leadership, I am trying my best, my little best, in my little way to impact in the society I am. Even right now, I'm in Abuja, Nigeria, and in a community where a lot of encouragements and a lot of things need to be done to the youths in the community. A lot. And there are no people to, there are no leaders. Mostly we have political leaders looking out for their own interests, but there are not leaders in the community to lead these people. And I've been here for a little month, and I'm trying to, build up the minds of the little ones I am encountering, and I have meetings with them Thursdays and Sundays, mostly on Sundays, just to make sure that I try to impact the little I can in my own free will. So one of the questions I really want to ask Dr. Professor Akpabio is, he made mention of when trying to being a leader is, I want to get it clear, being a leader and there's an election and
I think we're going to miss that. Okay, for the time being, if you have any questions, is it possible to type it on the chat box? Because we're running out of time when we still have Dr. Stephen speaking. So, but finish up that question you're asking us now so that Papa can answer that one.
Okay, so giving that impression that a particular election is okay and given the for peace to reign, does that send a good signal as a leader? Yes, we have situation control. Does that send a good signal to a particular leadership that, oh, just to make people not to go into chaos? Is it proper to announce to people that, okay, what happened was right, and for people to calm down so that there will be no chaos? Is it right? Is it a good signal for a leader to do in a particular scenario like this?
Okay.
And number two, there is how can we empower leaders in communities, especially the grassroots? Because one of the things I realize is, as leaders, we have responsibilities to also provide, because most times you go to some places, they are hungry, and you don't there are no empowerment around the society to empower this youths, and they come out to become probably a nuisance to the society, or they belong to different kind of group that causes problem in the society. So how can we empower leaders to also be able to provide the little that they can in communities, especially the grassroots?
Okay.
Thank you
Is
very
that
much.
okay? Thank you so much for the question. Yes, sir. The question, the answer.
Now, I want to really advise, in this political realm, justice is no more taken as serious as an important. On this platform, we also look at the aspect of, quote, God and God's influence in the society. In the Bible school, there is what we call liberation theology. And we know that that theology has to do with a situation. If nobody see you, make sure that they see you. Create problems. If you do that in the of the Nigeria or the leadership that we have now, whether Nigeria or anywhere, some of these leaders have no conscience. Some of these our national leaders, they don't have a conscience. What they want is when they get the money, they use the money and kill you and bury you and come back and continue. You see, when one of the leaders was the hand were hold to go for election, he was not able to stand, but he was the one who declared. Now, when we look at all those things, we realize that we must use our sense in order to do it. To tell the youth, when you go to a community, we can pass through, because in diplomatic leadership and relationship, then we must pass through somebody who has been there to use the person there to solve their problem. There must be this grassroots issue. When you as a leader, you are good as you are there, let's say you are kind of a diplomat in that place. If you are not careful, they can even winch you and kill you and throw you away when they know that you want to hijack power to somebody else. So one must be very sensitive when you come to a situation that they are, this godfather in politics and in business, godfather, and that person is ready to get the money, sweep them all away. So tactfully, you tell the youth there is always a time limit. These people's time will pass. The least you can bear for now, bear. You know, the day, what empowerment they want is gone. Weapon to fight and to act. Give them money. Some of the youth that we have, they say we inculcate the fear of God in their life. They will use it for drugs. And they go about getting their head here and there. And many of our youth and people are now looking for money. Even if they may know the right thing, when they get the money, they don't know. So what we can only do is, number one, we instill the fear of God in their life. Number two, we tell them that time heals. And if you struggle for now, you can't get it. If that thing was for you, it will be for you. And in this political era, they say the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. There are two English words I tell them in school and everywhere that we are not given a better interpretation. That is logic and politics. We know politics is a game for, they say government of the people, for the people, and by the people. And it's not so. They don't even defend the people. They'll collect money and then they use. So what we can do is to tell our people, don't look at what is going on. Like the first speaker or the second speaker was saying, let's build them, let them have what they can do to keep themselves and how they can sustain themselves. They will cut their eye from what others are doing, because as far as corruption is concerned, even with all the prayers that Christians and Muslims have prayed, corruption has not gone. So corruption don't go by prayers, it goes by conscience. So for that, let's issue a conscience that they can stand and then do what they can do within their time, knowing that when it comes to the time that these ones are going, they will still have the position. If you establish a person and make him to be what he should be, when it comes to leadership, he will know what to do. Some of these, our leaders, they never smell suffering. They never smell anything that is wrong. All they want, they come into the pool and then they continue. So we can teach them and train them and try to tell them violence is not the best. Violence is not the best. The way we can, it can be. It is a long time we could talk more. That was a big part. I was preparing a 7-page talk, and I've only used only 3, so as to give us more time, and I attend to another program here. So thank you very much. At least if those questions, our queen will know what to do. We can send the answers through the platform so that we can share together and know together. But as a diplomatic relationship in leadership, let's try to be cautious, careful, wise, and careful. Else you die and the situation continue unsolved. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Powerful, powerful. I'm sure if we have to, that's why I said that we still need to continue with this program, with this topic, because these are the crucial topics that's very, very crucial that we need to really deal with it, especially when we are guiding and mentoring the youth so that they can engage their mindset, they can get the better picture of what is going on around them, even in the leadership, and they can prepare themselves well to become an effective leader in the society. So I want to say thank you so much, sir, on behalf of Yes You Can International and Yes You Can International Academy. Thank you so much for sharing your wealth with us this morning. And now
Thank
we
you.
need to move on. Thank you so much, Ambassador Daniel, for your questions. And please don't limit yourself. If you still have more questions, please type it on the chat box. I don't know if you are on our WhatsApp masterclass. If you're not, probably we will need to add you to it because we have other speakers as well that will be speaking to us this evening as well as in the morning. So we appreciate you, sir. Thank you for joining us, Ambassador Daniel. Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you very much. I'm
we still
happy
have
to be
two
here.
speakers. I think it was my mistakes. I thought it's only one speaker, but now I see that we have so many speakers. But we are going to listen to them all. So at this moment, I believe if I can just let Dr. Stephen Cameron to start off, is that okay for you, Pastor Awodiran?